Next, we're going to be going over all of the resource managers. This should be very quick since a lot of them, like the scene managers, have a lot in common. First, all of their attorneys only have one friend class, which is the engine, and then they have the terminate, just so that they can be terminated from the engine and the user doesn't have to worry about it. That's all of their attorneys. So starting off with the model manager, they're all going to be singletons, so that's going to be another thing they share. They will all have a map of a string, which will be the key, and then whatever they're in charge of. So in this case, models. They will have terminates, again, called through the attorney. The model manager has three functions: get, which returns a model that has within its map; load, which gets a key and then one of the pre-made models; or load, which is a key and a path, which will load from that path. Moving into the CPP file, you can see that we're throwing quite a few errors if stuff doesn't add up. So within get, if we do not have the if the key they gave us doesn't correspond to anything, we're going to throw an error. Within load, if the key already exists, we're going to throw an error. And the same goes for the other load as well. And then terminate, we simply delete all of the models that we created. Moving on to the shader manager. Again, singleton, we have a map, and then we have terminate. This one only has two functions because we don't have any pre-made models. It just has get, which is a key and returns it from the map, or load, which is, again, a key and then a path. Again, we're throwing errors if stuff doesn't add up. We have news, so during the terminate, we delete them. Moving on to the texture manager. Singleton, we have a map, we have our three functions. We have a get, again, key, and then gets it from the map. We have our basic load, which is a key and then a path, so from a file. The texture manager, however, also has a unique load where it takes in a key and then you can give it custom RGB values. So in case you just want it to be purely blue, for example, you can load it up like that. And again, we're throwing quite a few errors if stuff doesn't add up and deleting everything at the end. Moving on to the image manager, you can see, again, singleton, map. We have our basic get from the map. We have our basic, this one has this is unique from the others in that it has, the image manager requires a texture. This is for sprites. So we load, we get a key, and we have a texture. And that will just create a sprite image from the given texture. Alternatively, they can pass in the texture, but also a rectangle defining where on the texture they want the image to be loaded. So if you only want a small portion of the texture, like the upper right corner, for example, you can pass in a rectangle corresponding to that. If we go into the CPP file, we can see that if you don't pass in a rectangle, we just take the height and width of the image for that rectangle. And then we create the image with that height width rectangle. Otherwise, we use the one handed in to us. Again, we're throwing tons of errors and then deleting everything at the end. Finally, for the sprite font manager, singleton, you have a map, and we have load and get. Get, again, give a key, get it from the map. And then the sprite font manager has the get a key and load it from the path. There's no pre-made models or anything, no fancy shenanigans, we only have the path. And then we create a new sprite font from the path given to us, tons of errors, and deleting everything at the end. So that's all of the resource managers.